I'm here with Roger, and we are going to talk about his entry into the contest today. Roger, tell us about what is this car? What is the official title of it?
This is a Mercedes-Benz 1967 250 SE Coupe. This particular version was manufactured from 66 to 67, and approximately 5,100 coupes were produced, which is what this is, and the cabriolet version about 1,000 to 1,200. This same body style was produced from 1961 to 1971, and all of the coupes and cabriolets up through 1971 with Mercedes-Benz were bench built. They were not built on the production line. They were built in compartments, so they were essentially handmade. So this particular car, which has air conditioning, it's a European version, hence the different headlights. It was ordered with factory air, which is a little unusual for a German car. They did come with sunroofs, which this one does not have, and typically the European versions did not have sunroofs. And they also came with either wind-up windows or electric. This one has wind-up. The German market is more basic than the American market, so they're a little bit more prone to the basics, which makes one wonder, why did they do air conditioning? I have no idea. But that car sold for $9,100 in '67, and today's equivalent is 71 and change. So that gives you an idea of how much $9,100 was back at that time.
Now, you have a really great story about the restoration that you did on this car. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done to get it in this quality?
Yeah, actually, we've owned the car since '79, and we had the body restored in '89, and then about 5 years after that, I began to see some flaws that I shouldn't have seen with the work that they did. So there was one day when I started the car in late fall just to keep it running, and went in the house, and my wife heard a whoop. And what had happened was the car began to roll back, and the rear end hit the company car that we had. That did it for me. I just said, I can't handle this. I'm going to leave it set, and then I'll come back to it when I have a little better frame of mind, which was about another 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
And so in 2017, a couple of years after I had retired, we decided to go ahead and do a proper high-end driver restoration, which is what we did, and the car was gutted from front to back, engine out, transmission out, body work done, interior was out of the car, and we chose to keep the original interior, but the rest of the car is pretty well fully restored. So that was worked on pretty much every day for a year at Bunz Benz in Douglasville.
I was looking at the car while we were getting ready, and I, of course, love the front end of this car. That's why we set up the shot this way, so we could get a great shot of this beautiful chrome grille. And the paint is really interesting. Coming up, looking at it, it has a different quality to it. What is it about this paint that I'm noticing?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz called this color blue metallic. Okay. Not a whole lot of originality with that naming convention, but later it was called a little better lapis blue, which is much more descriptive of what it really is. We decided when we had the car redone in 2017 to choose a little bigger flake, I should say more metal flake in the paint, and a slightly deeper hue. And the car in the sunlight, which we don't have much of today, at certain angles, certain parts of it appear purplish rather than blue. It changes color. And that's an optical illusion because of the metal in the paint and the refraction. But the 387H, the blue metallic, was a popular color for these cars back then. And most of them were done with parchment interior, which this car, I think, was actually originally ordered in tan leather. But it was a popular combination.
It is beautiful. So where do you guys like to drive this car?
Well, we first of all, we don't like to drive it in the rain. Obviously, since we've chosen to restore the car to driver status, we don't like it to be a trailer queen either. So we like to drive it in the southeast. We've taken the car, we've driven the car from Atlanta to Hilton Head at the Hilton Head Concours last fall. And that's been the longest trip we've had in this car for some years. Prior to its restoration, many years prior to its restoration, we drove it a couple of times to Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's quite a trip.
And back. And this was before, of course, we had put a lot of money into the car. And it's pretty bulletproof. It's very reliable. You don't have to worry about breaking down on the highway. The engine's well tested, the whole drivetrain is well proven. So we feel comfortable pretty much anywhere we take the car.
Oh, that's neat. Now I'm going to ask you the question every Southerner wants to know the answer to. Does the AC still work?
It works, but it's not cold. The one flaw that they had in these cars, the original owner spent a lot of money for air conditioning, but at that time the factory was having the air compressors made and purchased in the United States, and it's called a York compressor, and it's not the most reliable. Well, then if it's not the most reliable, why have we chosen to keep it? A, we don't drive it that much. B, I really don't drive it a lot in hot weather. And C, it's original to the car. I can have it resealed, but probably in a couple of years, there are design flaws in the old York compressors. So we choose to, at the moment, keep it original.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful car with me today, Roger.
Thank you, Heather.